Hello. I am the back. Okay. So we're just gonna be doing some animating today, probably. Maybe I'll try to get some comic stuff done. I don't know, but first things first. Yeah, we'll just stick to rock pencil. Hey, what's up there? How's it going there, Richard? Hope you're doing well. Been a little while. Hope stuff's going good. Trying to get the house sold? Oh, yeah. Bet that keeps you pretty busy. Yeah, I'm glad to be streaming again, honestly. It's been way too long. It was nice picking it up last week. I'm still trying to find like a good way to balance with my new work. Streaming and everything like that. I do know that I'm going to be streaming on Mondays. Although it's kind of funny because my schedule is going to be a little bit different next week. So I'm actually probably going to be streaming on Tuesday because I'm going to have Tuesday off instead of Monday. So. But most days it's going to be Monday, or most weeks rather, it's going to be a Monday stream rather than Tuesday. Because 2 days in a row is a little tough. But I still want to do Thursday streams, just because it's nice having 2 weeks or 2 days during the week to stream. I mean, ideally, in general, I'm putting in 3 or 4 hours every day outside of work. We'll see how long I go today. I don't know, maybe I'll go for 10, or until 10 my time. Should be about 3 hours stream. Should be nice. Yeah, I mean, I do work out, like, not on stream. So I'm getting work done every day, every night, which is nice. That's the benefit of part-time. Of course, it's 6-hour days. So if I do end up working another 3 hours, that's the equivalent of a 9-hour day, which isn't terrible. But ideally, I'd be working like another 4 hours, which would make it a 10-hour day. The hardest part is just like it's gonna be tough to really find good amounts of time to really sink into blanking, because the hardest part in regards to you know, getting a really big project done is you get faster and more efficient the longer of a session you have, and so that's what's been really kind of slowing me down as far as this next batch of pages goes. I mean, for one thing, I'm splitting my time between the comic and, you know, this animation. So once the animation is done, I'll, you know, be taking a break from animating and focusing more on the comic. So I'll be able to put like a solid 3 or 4 hours in a day on the comic, hopefully. Although I will say, I would rather just spend 3 or 4 hours animating rather than 3 or 4 hours making a comic. But I have a comic to make, so. And then I have another comic to make, probably. Although I'm going to be taking a break from making comics, at least. So I'm going to do black and white. I'm going to probably be doing like black and white comics for a while before I take on a big like color comic again. It's just kind of tough because like I feel like more than ever I'm sort of locked into my work, which has its ups and downs. Like it has its ups in that like I don't have to worry, you know. There's a bit of stability there, of course, but it just kind of has me a little bit like on edge because I still want to keep pursuing art and whatnot, and the question is like, okay, like how far can I go, you know? Even short ones. Yeah, no, it is a commitment. I mean, like it's especially a commitment when it's like I think about it like from the perspective of like if I was only doing the line work, or I was only doing the penciling, or I was only doing the color, like it actually honestly like wouldn't be that bad. Like it's crazy how much faster you can get stuff done collaboratively. Like you think, oh, I have an extra like person, right? Like then I'll get stuff done twice as fast, right? Which is already crazy, but it's actually crazier than that because when you think about it, let's say, you know, I've been working on the line work for this comic for the last few months now. I say few. I've actually been working on this comic for over half a year. This batch of pages, which is just crazy to me. But let's say, okay, you have a partner you're doing who's a colorist, right? You're working with a colorist or something like that, right? Well, if you have a colorist, the second that you finish a page, they're already working on it, right? Like they can already grab it and go to town, right? Boy, Wicker's looking kind of scared right now. But alternatively, if you're doing everything by yourself, you have to wait until everything is done and then you go back and do it, right? So that simultaneousness actually winds up being even faster because even after the colorist is still working, you can go on to work on more line work, right? Like, it doesn't matter. But I'm stuck doing color until I get before I can go back to doing the color. Okay, he does have a little peak, but I thought he did. Honestly, I probably will have to kind of adjust his model to be a little bit more kinder for animation. I've been talking about that. I'll have to think about what that really realistically looks like. His arms are just kind of hills. It is not to iterate on prior steps. I mean, kind of like, yeah, a little bit, but like, I don't know. For me, like, I've always been really good about just kind of letting things go. It's like, if it's done, then like, I'll look back on it and be like, oh yeah, no, that could be better, but it's done, you know? Like, I look at chapter 2 and I just think to myself, like, man, that, like, there's some pages in chapter 2 I might end up redoing. I don't know. Part of me wants to, part of me doesn't want to. Part of me wants to leave it as it is. But that is, I mean, that is, I do think that, like, when it's someone else's work, it's easier to get into a flow. Because, like, I mean, I felt this way when I was working on, like, Lackadaisy, where it was just kind of like, I don't know, you get into this mode where it's just kind of like, I'm just going to fulfill, to the best of my ability, the task at hand, and at the end of the day, like, get a paycheck, you know? But for, like, when you're, like, researching and developing the style yourself, yeah, I will say you're constantly looking for ways to push it, even if you're not going back and fixing things. This is part of the reason why chapter 3 has taken so long, is what do I want him to do with the other hand? Is we'll pretend this looks good. That's what I just tell myself. Let's pretend this looks good. How about that? It's just a doodle anyway. Let's just warm up. But like, you know, I've been constantly pushing myself with each successive chapter, even within the chapter, like even within this last batch of pages. Like my first set of pages are pretty like limited, you know. They're like, I take shortcuts and stuff like that. These last few pages though, I have been like really going kind of hard on trying to make them look as good as I can. This doesn't look very good, honestly, but whatever. It's a doodle. Well, I'll say he's easier to doodle now, which is nice. I've really kind of figured out his shapes, which is good, because if a character is easy to doodle, they're easy to animate. That's where you want them to get to. And then like, I'm I'm both really looking forward to and like dreading next chapter, because like I do think the next chapter will probably be some of the most demanding stuff. Some of the ideas I have for pages and stuff like that is just like crap. And I know, like, I can do it now. Like, a big part of art, it's kind of funny, a big part of art is oops, that's not what I wanted. Getting yourself into the, like, getting yourself to the mental state that you are willing to actually put the time into it. Because, like, that was something I noticed with the way I would draw when I was, like, younger and stuff. I was always looking for shortcuts. And I think that this is pretty relatable. Like, you're always looking for, like, okay, how do you do it, like, efficiently, right? And sometimes there's things that you can do to make things more efficient, right? Like technique and whatnot. But a lot of the times what it comes down to is just you sit there and you do it. You just sit there and draw it. Double-edged sword of having good, exactly, yeah. It's just like, well, and what's really I keep doing that habit. I'm trying to save, but it's just a doodle. It's nothing, so it's not worth saving. This is kind of a funny looking wicker. But it's funny because the ideas I had for chapter 4, I had all the way back in like 2021 when I was first like coming up with the story, maybe even 2020, maybe 2020, depending. I can't exactly remember how much I had planned for the story at that time. I had a bit. I had the Fisher in chapter 3 worked out early on. I hadn't quite figured out what the story was, but I knew I wanted to do something with them. But all right, let's just get going on this. Take that up. Okay, so we're gonna be doing some keying. I might need to concentrate for this. I don't know yet. I need to bring this over. We don't want to have to see all this every time we play back. Okay. So I will actually set that as my target. Hold on. Yeah, so I had those ideas a long time ago for specific scenes and stuff like that, and I remember just thinking to myself, like, boy howdy hey, I hope I'm a good enough artist by the time I get to that point. Which is, it's funny to think that even back in like 2021, even like kind of 2022, I wasn't at like the level I am now, which makes sense, right? It's, you know, a couple of years, but like almost to a like hold on. Also, we got some Super Meat Boy. Let's go, man. I haven't. Gosh, I used to listen to the soundtrack all the time. I'll have to do that again, honestly. Okay, let's put them over here. Color blue. Okay. But yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm at the level where I can accomplish what I need to effectively enough. Oh wait, no, I want. There we go. Okay, so I actually am tempted. You know, we're gonna do something crazy here. We're gonna actually make our life a bit easier, because I've actually been getting into the habit of doing place and trace, and there really isn't all that much in terms of like tilt rotation going on, so I think I should be good to just trying to think if I want it to be wider or more narrow. Let me think. So he's down. Maybe a touch more narrow, so because he does step a little bit forwards to the box, but at the same time I don't really. Let's make it a touch more narrow. Why not? Let's get crazy. Yeah, I do miss animating. And I know I'm animating right now, but I mean like on like an actual production, like an actual like little short film or something like that. Which I do have plans to do after after I'm done with the comic. I know what I want to do. Which I probably should start like planning that out a bit. Doing a little bit of pre-production. I know what the story is. I know what... Well, I know what the story is. I don't know like the scene to scene yet, because I haven't really planned it out. Let me just check. So, sideways. Honestly, this, the more I look at this model sheet, the funnier it is. I want him to be blinking. And I determined that one mistake that I was making is I was actually trying to keep the eye away from the edge, but actually I need to have it towards the edge because his hood comes out a little bit, so. I mean, truth be told, like, that's another thing I've really had going for me there, Richard, is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I do, like, I'll like, this animation's a perfect example. I'll pick up and start doing animating, although that was motivated, like, that was kind of counteracting this more than anything. But I'm actually really good at like sticking to a project fairly consistently. Like planning out, like I'll plan out like after I finish a chapter or an install or something like that. I'm usually like, okay, for this next month, I'm gonna like do something else, right? And then after that month is done, whether I've done anything or not, or whatever I've gotten done, like I put it to the side and it's like, because this is my main project, right? The comic is my main project. So I've always been pretty good at that, really sticking to ideas for the long haul. The problem kind of with that, for me at least, is at the end of the day, like, I want to be an animator, right? Like, you know, I want to get better at animation. I want to, if the opportunity comes up, I want to have the chance to animate. I'm actually gonna bring this forward on like a project or something like that, which means I actually also just realized I'm gonna keep his hood solid just for the sake of my sanity, but technically speaking, his hood would, well, shoot, that'd be that extra little touch, you know? And this animation, like, that's something that I'll do when I'm, like, being lazy with my animation, but I'm not being lazy with this one. I'm actually kind of trying to push this animation a little bit. So there should be a little bit of hood wrap. Maybe. Well, let's see how it turned out. Eh, maybe not. Maybe we just be lazy. But it means that, you know, I start to neglect being an animator if I'm working on a comic or something like that. So, like, this was the first thing I'd animated in a while. I mean, not, like, I did animate a little doodle of my guy waving his arm, which was super fun. That got me back into the mood. But it's just kind of like, well, crap, I'm not animating, you know? I want to be an animator. I'm sitting here not animating. I'm drawing, which is good, so I'm not, you know, atrophying totally, but there's still so much I want to get better at in terms of, like, character acting and stuff like that. That is kind of as good as I am at handling projects and like finishing projects and stuff like that. What it does ultimately mean, though, is I'm usually neglecting like practice. I have a hard time just sitting down to practice. Everything I do feels like it needs to be like a bigger project, which isn't necessarily a bad way to learn, but it is, I think, kind of it's slower in some ways, faster than others. You learn really good skills for like getting projects done, but your technical ability, I think, suffers for it. The best animators I know are people who just it doesn't matter. They will just start drawing frames and start animating. And I've never felt like I was in a spot or like in a just that was my strong suit. Truth be told, I wouldn't even mind necessarily hiring some of those people. I don't do this. I don't work solo out of like some egotistical desire to prove myself necessarily. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. I'll go into that, but I mostly do it because I don't have a choice. It's like, well, I can't afford you. I can't pay you, so looks like I'm doing everything. I will say though, the exception to that is the comic, because I do at this point, like, I could probably enlist someone, right? I could probably like get a little bit of help, even if it's just like flats, right? For color. But part of me like feels a little awkward when it's like, oh yeah, I did this whole, comic by myself, but then I have to put like an asterisk. It's like, oh yeah, but this other person, they helped me. They were very, very generous and helped me with this one little part or this one process. It's like part of me wants to just have it all to myself. And all the stupidity that is. It's just, it's one of those things where it's like, you've come this far solo, might as well see it through. One, in order to say that you did it, but also because there's a lot to be learned. Like, I think it's beneficial to do a project like totally solo. That's what I would tell my students, is make a short film by yourself, because then you understand the full scope of the process. You can better understand if you go off to become a cleanup artist or a rough animator or a colorist or whatever. You'll better understand your place in the structure of the workflow. We'll go with that, and now what we're gonna do is set you, put you off to the side, and boy, is this really a key? I hope it is. And that's probably a key there. I have to come up with a better workflow for my frames, my animation frames, because You know, I probably could have exported the frames because that's only really kind of a problem when... Oh wait, no, I couldn't because I can't export my frames. I can only export the drawings. That's right. Procreate isn't the best when it comes to... you know how big his head is? This dude got a big head. That is how big his head be, though. The only way I could think to get the frames out conveniently well, I guess I could process the... See, it should be 24 frames per second, but it's not. It's this weird... Well, and it might be the way that Clip Studio Paint handles its video formats, which is kind of annoying. It's not perfectly frame accurate, both ways, I should say. It's kind of annoying. I wish that there was a way to export just frames from Clip Studio Paint, or not Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint you can, but from Procreate that allows for it to be accurate, because you can export the drawings, the individual layers, but that doesn't take into account your spacing and your timing, or your timing rather. So it would just be like as if everything was on ones. It's like, oh, I don't animate ones like ever. So I need to figure this out. Hey, what's up, Guilty Gear? Guilty the Gearhead. Hope you're doing the good. I want that to be fairly... There you go. He's not moving his legs yet. That being said, I'm actually gonna move his body down a touch because I want his legs to bend a bit more, and volume-wise, makes a bit more sense. Combat's a little lacking in my opinion. Funny enough, while I was going through like PS2 titles and stuff like that, looking for stuff to play, Okami did come up, and I thought about putting it on the PS2 and playing it that way, but then I realized that there's an HD version on Steam, and I'm like, I feel like that one's kind of worth playing in HD, just because of the art and everything like that. I don't know though. I think it's a good port. I think reviews said it was a decent port, so. That's one that I want to give a shot for sure. I remember it was funny when that game came out. For whatever reason, I don't know why necessarily, but you know, I was playing. It was around the same time that I was playing a lot of like Twilight Princess, And so, Legend of Zelda, that is. And so when I saw the wolf, I like the way the wolf moves and everything like that. Like, it was weird. I was like, am I? Like the first time I saw it, I was like, am I looking at some weird part of the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess that I haven't gotten to lately? What's going on? Because it just reminded me so much of the movement in that game with the wolf and everything. But it's like, oh no, it's a totally different game. And the other thing was like it had like, I was watching, gosh, was it X-Play review it? It might have been X-Play, like because it was so long ago. And they were, I think, reviewing the Wii version or something like that, and talking about the motion controls. It does remind you of Twilight Princess. Yeah, like that's so funny. Like stylistically, I can't even say like stylistically they're the same, because like Twilight Princess is much more like kind of classical romantic era or even impressionistic painted style, whereas Okami is like floating world ukiyo-e, like Japanese, right? Very, very Japanese in its art. So, but there kind of is a weird crossover in a strange way, like artistically, between those two styles. The era of the floating world for Japan, it kind of was sort of the age of impressionism for Japan, a little bit. It's funny because Japan never really got into like representationalism, at least not in the same way that Western artists did. Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I would be kind of curious about because, you know, I don't know like Japanese art all that well, so I would be curious like if they had like during like Edo period and before, if they had a like really like fundamental like representationalism era. That'd be kind of interesting, because they've always been a bit more abstract. It's actually why I think that like Japanese design, they've in the past have really good design. It's because their history is kind of like push them towards that, what they're culturally drawn to. Well, it's kind of fun to think. I don't know. It's really fun, especially around that era of gaming and whatnot. It's fun to see, like, because I feel like nowadays you don't really see all that much individual like art movement influence as much necessarily, unless it's like being very period specific, like for example like a game set in the 20s being very art deco or something like that, you know. I am the animated moon, watch me draw. I'll do that next. That will be the title next time. Maji. Also, hello Maji. I will be getting to your commission pretty soon. My timing is kind of off, so I'm hoping to get to that soon. I'm kind of settling back in. I'm also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking of not necessarily restarting it completely from scratch or anything like that, but like reapproaching it again. So just not thinking how it's turning out again. That piece is tricky. That piece has been really tricky. So I wanna make sure I get it right. You're at work. Let me check what's going on here. Okay, I need to check something. Oh, shoot. So it is lifting. Okay, so what that means is that that one's maybe a bit long. Well, we won't be too worried about it. But yeah, I am looking forward to getting back to working on your commission, Maji. I just need to actually come up with when I'm going to be able to get back to it. It should be soon, though. Probably either like tomorrow or next week. Let's see here. Let's try. Come on. Honestly, that's one thing that also is kind of going to be difficult is being able to keep up with commissions on top of everything else. I do want to continue doing commissions if I can. Oh, that's cool. All right, catch you later there, Richard. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a good one there, Maji. Appreciate you stopping by. I don't like how far he lifts his leg there. I want it to be like barely anything. If we're going to. Hold on. I want it to just barely lift on this frame. But that should do it. All right. This is kind of an awkward key, I'm not gonna lie. No, I hope this isn't gonna be a problem. Got a strong enough silhouette. I'm actually gonna as well erase this because I'm gonna draw that in where more appropriate. Come on. Keep playing. Hey, what's up, story time? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Well, I haven't exactly been live lately. But I'm glad to be back. Yeah, it's good to have you here. Let me just check the motions. Don't worry about making a lap. I actually am tempted to have it push back. That would actually strengthen the pose up considerably. That. All right. Dang. Daft Punk, huh? I find it funny that Daft Punk basically put out one album. Like, yeah, they had other songs, but no one knows them. They put out one album in, what, like 1993 or something like that? Became sensations. Suddenly everyone loved electronic music. It's a cover, yeah. I mean, it's the same, it's hard to say with Daft Punk because, you know, they just kind of, it's French house, right? So it's sampled, right? So technically it's not at the same time. I mean, I don't know what the original song was that they sampled, but it's, what's the name of the song? The Right Time or something like that? I don't know. It is a Daft Punk song. Did that movie about the blue aliens? Okay, well, that's key 1. This is key 2. And we're gonna bring you on over. And I think I want that tilt there. Interstellar, yeah. Interstellar 5555. Which, man, it's just... It's so weird that that movie exists, you know? Like, they just were like, you know what, we're just gonna pay a crap ton of money to a Japanese animation studio, and they're just gonna make a whole movie based on our album. Basically the world's longest music video. Yeah. Wait, hold on, I can compare it here. Yeah, perfect, actually. So that's about how much lower it's going to be. There we go. That's better. I should have done that before, but oh well. One thing I'm gonna have to figure out is his eyebrows, because his eyebrows are a different color. I might have to. Well, so his hood's dark, right? And his eyebrows are dark. So if hood and the eyebrows go together, they're gonna be too dark. I might be able to get away with kind of like lightening up the hood, maybe. I don't know. Yo, what's up, dope and stuff? Hope you're doing well. Okay, I can move this now. I don't need that. I actually do like that frame. That's a proper keyframe right now. The other frame, oops, don't do that. Will work as a keyframe. It's probably the best keyframe out of that batch. If it is a little awkward, it's more of a breakdown frame, honestly, but that's not bad to use as a key necessarily. Because remember, the difference between a keyframe and a breakdown frame is the keyframe is what's happening, the breakdown frame is how it happens. So technically him kind of lurching down like this isn't necessarily a what's happening kind of frame. It's more of a how it's happening. But it gives me a bit more of a transition. And I already have the motion kind of figured out. Actually, I want to raise this up. Raise that up. Okay. I'm gonna something like that. reference here. Okay. I don't want. these hands I want. You're not quite that big. The hand is going forward, so you're gonna have some perspective to it, but not that much. Thing is that they're going forward, so the fingers are gonna be shorter. Yeah, what's up, Joker? Good to see you. Actually, not happy with take those fingers. Got thinner fingers than that. So, yeah. Time is 8:36. I think I can do one more frame after this. I'm probably not going to work on the comic tonight. I'm pretty bushed. I was typing stuff into a computer all day at work. Doing a lot of reformatting stuff. I think I've had my fair share staring at a computer screen. Instead, I want to stare at the TV screen. Oh, trust me, I appreciate boring usernames. They're easy to pronounce. A boring username isn't a bad thing. It's always the way. Yeah, isn't it, Guilty? Work all day at a computer screen just to come home so you can stare at a TV screen. Honestly, I need to get back into reading more. I did pick up 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea again. I need to finish that one. I'm almost done, actually. And after I am done with that book, I need to think about what I'm going to read next. Oh, thank you for the sub there, Joker. Really appreciate it. One of these days, I really ought to get my little alerts and stuff like that in order. I haven't bothered putting that all together because, like, for the longest time, you know, there was no real need for alerts and whatnot. But now that people actually have been subscribing quite consistently over the past few months, which has been really nice, I really do appreciate that. It'd be nice to have a little something. I actually even know what I would do for the sub. I have a little animation of my little moon lad Nemo. Speaking of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, that actually I didn't think about it when I named Nemo that. My little, let me see if I can find one for a second. I really should put him somewhere on the stream. Where is he at? Here he is. What's the best one? Oh, I should put this somewhere on the stream. It's funny because, like, I drew this, and it's funny because, like, the boot's not right, but I drew this and then animated it after the fact, so that's why it looks kind of scuffed. But yeah, that's a little sleepy Nemo. But when I named him that, I actually wasn't even thinking of Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I was thinking of here's another one. This will be the alert, actually, I want to do. But I was thinking of Little Nemo, Little Nemo in Slumberland by Winsor McCay. Which, fun fact, Winsor McCay is considered the grandfather of animation. So that's actually kind of the other reason why I named him Nemo. Was kind of in honor of Winsor McCay. You want to pick up The Incredible Tide? I don't know if I've ever heard of that one. Guilty. What do I want to do with this? Yeah. I think I want to. Hold on. Let me check the movement here. Yeah, I want to keep this as like a clenched fist. The book that Future Boy Conan is based on. Ooh. I might have to actually look into that then. That sounds really interesting. Because, yeah, no, Future Boy Conan is really cool. We talked about it a little bit last time. Yeah, I didn't realize it was based on a book. Yeah, if it's anything like the series, then that actually sounds like it'd be a fun story. My brother would probably be interested as well. Might be worth looking for that one. I've got a big old box full of like classics that I need to get through. Some Mark Twain, Lewis Carroll, the others, Jules Verne. It's been a long time since I read Mark Twain. I really do love his writing, though. It's very fun. I also, man, I have a book that a friend of mine gave me. He's a big fan of Tolkien. When I say a big fan of Tolkien, I don't just mean Lord of the Rings. He gave me a book on his short stories. Like a couple that has a couple of his short stories. I'd be really curious to read that because the only work by Tolkien that I've actually read through is The Hobbit, which I read through last year again for the first time in a while, and man, that was fun. That's such a fun read. Yeah, like that's what reading's good for, man. Like reading really does kind of help, like stimulate the intellect. And it gets you kind of able to think in new directions. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I guess it's just such a like you're working so many aspects of the brain while you're reading, especially when the writing is very like solid, very good. You're having to really kind of put it together. That it just really exercises your sense of thinking very well. Okay. Come on. I want that frame. That's some good anticipation there. I'm gonna grab that, and I'll do a breakdown in between here when I get there. Like it'd probably be like the frame before this. So yeah, that other frame. But I'll worry about that later. I just want to do the key right now. And I'm actually gonna have him like push out this way more. But oh, come on. The body rotates this way quite a bit, so I'm actually going to yeah, no, for sure. Funny enough, though, actually, I haven't been... Well, when I was in the hospital, I played a couple games. I beat a ROM-hacked version of Mother 1, which was really fun. I actually really enjoyed that. It was a really good time. It was actually really fun because it had been a good number of years. Actually, wow, it's been a long time since I played Unbeaten Earthbound. It was 2017, I'm pretty sure, when I beat Earthbound. Good grief, wow. And so it was really fun going back and playing the first Mother, with some improvements to make it a bit better of an experience. It was actually a very pleasant experience, considering it's an NES title. It was funny how many elements carried over from one game to the next. And just the charm of it and the atmosphere of it all, kind of how reminiscent it was. But I beat that on the hospital. And then I started playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I gotta say, I wholeheartedly think that Super Castlevania 4 is a better game. Like, I respect Symphony of the Night for what it did to push, you know, to kind of like kick off the Metroidvania style and whatnot. But my word, the moment-to-moment gameplay is kind of not the best. Like, specifically the combat. The combat is rough. It is so much more fun in Super Castlevania 4. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, they should have known better. Because like the movement and everything like that in Castlevania 4 was perfect. You had so much control. You had full articulated movement. Come on. Why can't I do this? Hold on. The Symphony of the Night, it's like, it would, like, all they needed to do was make the sword actually, like, work like a sword instead of poke. And it would oh my gosh, it would have been so much better. Because it's like, yeah, good luck hitting a Medusa head. It's not the worst I've played it by any means or anything like that, but man. Actually, I need to remember. It's kind of funny. His hood's kind of off. The more I look at this model sheet, the more I'm like, man, what was I thinking? To be somewhat fair, I did this on the iPad. The drawing on the iPad isn't as precise. But his model has definitely changed from that, which is okay. Because at the end of the day, that happens. I've gotten better at drawing him, so which is a good thing. Do I want him looking that far this direction? I don't. So actually, no. I mean, it's neat. The art's really good. The music's really good. It's like, it's one of those games where like it really needed time to be fully realized. Like like its concept to be fully realized. But even like comparing it to its like obvious kind of predecessor with Super Metroid, I do think Super Metroid is a better game, just from what I've played of it and seen of it and everything like that. I do need to play through Super Metroid as well. So like it's, I don't know. You might really dig it. A lot of people do. But I'll probably beat it and like play through the reverse castle and everything like that. But I'm actually gonna. But it's rough around the edges for sure. Because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's not perfect game." Blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, no, not really. Then again, people will say that Dark Souls is a perfect game. So, you know, I think some people are just broken. Honestly, I need to beat Super Castlevania 4 because that game is legit, like so much fun. That is a super fun game. It's hard, but like, I don't remember there being any elements where it was just like, oh yeah, good luck hitting this enemy because the controls are scuffed. You know, there was nothing really like that. There was probably some like BS stuff in it, but like, there was some like trying points in the Symphony of the Night. Actually, I don't remember where I was in Super Castlevania 4 because there is a password system. Because I never beat those games all in one setting. Can't remember if there's infinite continues in it. I don't think there is. Come on. Shadow of the Ninja. I know I've heard of that one. Shadow of the Ninja. Come on. I mean, the next game I need to play through is Zone of the Enders 2. I played through the first one not that long ago, and I'm really looking forward to playing this through the sequel. bigger. I want to make sure that, yeah, it's pretty accurate. Honestly, there haven't been any games really on my radar. So let me check. Let me check my Steam wish list here. I never did beat Sable. I need to pick that one up. Oh yeah, Children of Silent Town. That one's gone on sale a couple times. I've been really tempted, but I've never picked it up. I probably should. Oh yeah, speaking of Metroidvanias, there's one based on Record of Lodoss War. So immediately I had to wishlist it. And it came out in 2021, which is just crazy. So I mean, I can appreciate a good Metroidvania, to be clear. Friggin' like, but that's the thing, like I played Hollow Knight, and now every Metroidvania ever is like inferior. Lauren's Lure, that one came out last year. That's another one I want to pick up. That one looks really cool. Oh yeah, Silk Song's coming out. Yeah, Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth, yeah. Oh yeah, Beta Decay looked really cool. Kind of a roleplay game that with fun-looking combat. You're kind of like in this system, like these different planets, I think, and whatnot, and you can actually like build your own ship and whatnot. It's in early access, so we'll see if like they pull it off. You know, it's kind of one of those things. But if they do, it could be pretty cool. We'll see though. And it's kind of like, you know, that PSX look, right? But, you know, something I've said before is with the rise of all this like PSX stuff and whatnot, it's like, okay, that's cool and all that you're, you know, pretending to be Resident Evil or whatever, but like, I think the whole point, or really like strong potential with that, is honestly, Guilty, we probably should, like, I don't know, hook up on Steam or something like that. The potential of doing like more basic graphics and stuff like that is then, okay, you're not focused on like rendering a billion polygons, right? Now you can put your processing power towards other things. Fluid dynamics, simulation, friggin' AI sophistication, right? Like scale things up, right? You've kind of freed some space, essentially, right? Sounds good, man. But like make use of it, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to say. And Beta Decay, if they pull it off, I just realized something. I actually want this to be a bit more centered. If they pull it up, they could do that, right? Because they're going to be like, you're going to be able to like build really sophisticated like robots and junk like that, right? a lot easier to do that when, you know, a gun is just 4 polygons, right? Like, it's easier to design, it's easier to implement. I would much rather have a game that looks, you know, blockier, you know, because clearly people like that look anyway, right? Myself included. I mean, I can appreciate a good, you know, sort of retro style. But I'd much rather it look like that and play amazing, like gameplay wise and stuff like that. It doesn't feel stiff. It doesn't like arbitrarily make itself play like crap, because that's how games used to feel, right? Because that was like all they could push, right? Or just design philosophy and whatnot. Don't tie yourself to archaic design philosophy. Actually push the design philosophy through the use of older, like classic retro game art styles and whatnot. I mean, even like pixel art got into that. There are some pixel art games where, like, because it was just sprites, they could do like really crazy things, like Risk of Rain, right? Like the first Risk of Rain, it was like, here's like a billion dudes on screen at once, because we can, right? And you know, they went on to make Risk of Rain 2, which is in 3D, but they kept things simple so that they could keep to that the spirit of that sort of style, right? I mean, the other reason they made it a pixel game is because, you know, pixels are easier to draw. Generally speaking, at least they're quicker, right? It's quick. It's actually pretty easy to make a good-looking sprite, right? At least like an appealing sprite. Exactly, right? Like what's the point of that, right? Actually, I want this to be shifted, because he's gonna shift his foot. New gameplay ideas keep things feeling fresh. Well, and I feel like, you know, there's a lot of stuff from the past you could push, right? Like, I mean, take like something like Thief, for example, right? The gameplay in Thief, like Thief 2 specifically and whatnot, and some of the mods and whatnot, Dark Ages or whatever, like, that's really cool, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff there. That they were pushing and whatnot, that's more or less been abandoned, right? I mean, think about like Daggerfall, like climbing and junk like that, right? Which now we're slowly starting to get back. You had like Breath of the Wild, where it's like, oh, you can climb any surface and whatnot, right? But I feel like there's so many different ways you could implement, like think about, like, you know, because everything's obsessed with being open world, and I genuinely think that's fundamentally like kind of holding games back in a way. And what I mean by that is, when you make an open world game, like a truly open world game where it's like, oh, you can go anywhere you want in the city, now you have to account, like, everything kind of has to be samey, right? There has to be like a gameplay loop, right? Because you're not going to sit there and design really individualized experiences, right? I would much rather have a game that gives you a crap ton of freedom in how you approach something, built into specific like scenario, like moment-to-moment scenarios, right? So like a single player like linear campaign, but each environment, each room is kind of like an open world in and of itself, in that it's like, okay, let's say you want to play like a sneaky thief character, you have walls that you can climb and get around on, and that's how you can like avoid enemies, or achieve certain objectives and stuff like that in order to keep moving forward. Or combinations, right? Suddenly, that to me is way more engaging than just, 500 billion square miles of, kind of nothing, right? Kind of the same thing over and over again, right? I mean, the other reason I really enjoy, I guess, a good single-player campaign is usually it's like 12 hours. I don't need a game to last 5,000 hours. In fact, I'd prefer if a game didn't last 5,000 hours, because that's not a game, that's a chore. Like, I'm not a streamer. This isn't my job. Why am, I paying you to work for you? So I really enjoyed Hat in Time. It was 12 hours. I've played it more than once, so I've put more than just 12 hours into it, but it was really fun. It was really fun. This 12 hours were just a solid, just fun from the start to the end. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's one of the biggest things I miss from the Zelda franchise now. Because I enjoyed Breath of the Wild quite a bit, but it's not a short game, right? Well, I mean, you can make it a short game, right? As far as you can go beat Ganondorf in or Ganon in 30 minutes or whatever, right? But it's as long as you want to make it. But as far as the game goes, it's meant to be big, and there's a lot to do, and there's just it's just one thing after the other, right? Whereas I just, I want a Zelda game where it's just okay, you have things you can do on the side, right? But ultimately, you're experiencing the game, right? I don't know. I think that there's more than just, dungeons missing or weapons breaking stuff. I think that's kind of the biggest thing that's kind of holding back that style of Zelda, I really do hope. I think they said that we're going to be sticking to that for the next few Zelda games or whatever. I'm really hoping they kind of rethink that. I want just a solid Zelda game, classic Zelda game again. It's technically the last one was when Skyward Sword, and even that was I don't know. Skyward Sword was the beginning of that sort of go do random things around everywhere kind of feel, and looking back at the other game, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, even Majora's Mask, compared to Skyward Sword, everything was really segmented in Skyward Sword. It was really you go down to the surface and you're in you're not really exploring a world, going through a world, you're kind of going through just a hallway almost. It kind of felt I don't know, multiple hallways. I don't know, it's a balancing act, because, you know, the other Zelda games are open world, right? Wind Waker's very open world and everything like that, but it's not like Breath of the Wild where it's so open world that there's like nothing, you know, like in terms of like actual progress. Breath of the Wild, you don't ever feel like you're actually like progressing, because the world doesn't really change, nothing really happens. That's one of my favorite things in games, is as you do things, the world is altered, right? I gotta think. But yeah, like that's what I really liked about Twilight Princess was, you know, the game starts off and you literally don't have access to like 2/3 of the map, right? Because it's cut off by the Twilight. And so you are going through, you are like changing the world, you are saving the world, right? It's not just like, oh yeah, you know, you have that Calamity Ganon guy over in the distance, he kind of just hangs around Hyrule Castle, right? Like that's neat and all, like whatever, right? I mean, kind of eventually you do wind up sort of with that in Twilight Princess, where you've peeled back the Twilight and whatnot, and now the castle has a shield around it and whatnot. But even then, right, you're at least like, it's not like you physically can't go there, right? You have to like obtain parts to be able to go complete your quest and all that. Think back to the old Zelda games and all the untapped potential. The item combinations from Link's Awakening can be expanded on. Bomb arrows, which do exist. Pegasus boots and Rock's feathers jump large pits. Pegasus boots is like the #1 thing that like needs to come back. Like it needs to be in a 3D Zelda game. Like how cool would that be? And even the Rock's feather, because like now, like yeah, okay, Link can jump or whatever, but like Rock's feather could be like a high jump or something, you know? I mean, that would be awesome for movement and whatnot. Like a Zelda game that like focused on movement, that would be actually kind of fun. That'd be kind of cool, actually. The more you don't like it. Yeah, Skyward Sword, the best way I can describe Skyward Sword is like, because I know like a lot of people like really like it and stuff like that, so I'm not gonna like completely dunk on it or whatever, but like, it's like the quintessential mediocre Zelda in my opinion. It just, I borrowed it from a friend and got through the second dungeon. I was making my way through the third dungeon and I just was not captivated. I just was like, I mean, for one thing, the motion controls were really annoying, but even setting that aside, like not like, let's say that the motion controls weren't an issue. Let's say that like either they worked perfectly or they actually came up with a control scheme that didn't make you want to swallow a cyanide pill. And just the kind of like moment-to-moment gameplay. Let me check something real quick here. Okay. I'm glad I checked that. Because he's actually stepping forward. Like I said, like it didn't really feel like I was anywhere. You know what I mean? Like Wind Waker is like, oh, the great ocean, right? You are somewhere. You're out in this ocean, you know, traveling to all these different islands and stuff like that. Like you're in this world, you know, it's really cool. Twilight Princess, you know, just this expansive Hyrule with all the different regions, and you can see them in the distance and whatnot. It's just like really cool. Ocarina of Time, even, right? Like, yeah, it's kind of empty, but it's at the same time, it did a really good job of just taking you from one place to the next and feeling that connection, right? Skyward Sword, it was just kind of like, okay, you're going down to the surface in this one spot to go through this area. Okay, cool, you know. Wasn't that fun? It's like, yeah, kind of. I mean, It wasn't the worst or anything. It's just, but like, I don't know. You don't get that. I don't know. I didn't get as much of a sense of adventure. And for a Zelda game, like that's really important. Like even Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild had a good sense of adventure at least. Even if you weren't transforming the world, you were still kind of experiencing it, right? Like it was cool to go to the different areas, and like there were really cool parts where like you would see something in the distance and you would like discover what it was and whatnot. Like that was really cool. But that's really what I think that Skyward Sword is missing. Is it felt too much like curated almost, you know? If that makes sense. Like, oh, I need to. Oh, that's funny. I forgot to do the lines on this. Look, it's an old leg. And so I wasn't compelled to keep playing Skyward Sword. I've never felt the need to go back and beat it. Yeah, like, and, you know, that's not necessarily in and of itself the problem, I would say. It's just that it doesn't feel like you're actually, like, engaged with the world. The world doesn't feel like a place as much as it is just a setting, if that makes sense. It's just kind of there because it needs to be there, is the feeling that I get from it. How does he move his leg, actually? Okay, so we are going to do that. And then Fee was just annoying. I'm sorry. And Girahim was stupid. I hated Girahim from the beginning. Like everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, he's such a good fit." He was a little friggin' tool. Like he's stupid. Like literally. Like I'm not even saying that like as a direct like insult. Like he was literally just a tool. And it wasn't even in an interesting way, because like that was what was interesting about Zant. Like people kind of poo-poo Zant because he winds up being pathetic, but that's what makes him kind of interesting. Is like he's this pathetic character who's been given all this power, and for most of the game you think of him as this like imposing like character, and then it turns out that's not what he is at all. He's this like pathetic puppet, you know. Don't care about the races of the game either. Yeah, like you have like the Goron and stuff, but like then you have the, what are they, the Kikwi or something like that? They're the Korok kind of characters, and like yeah, and then the mole people, and like yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care about the characters, you know, either. Like even in like the Skyloft and whatnot. And that was the thing about Skyloft was, you know, like setup has so much to do with it, like as far as like the feel of a world, right? Because going back to Wind Waker, which I think is probably the most apt comparison as far as Zelda games go for Skyward Sword, as compared to Wind Waker, because Wind Waker, like when Link has to go off to save his sister, he's going off into the unknown. Like he has no idea what's out there, right? And you get that feeling like he has to leave his home behind and everything like that. Kikwis. Wow, I'm amazed I remember that. The heck? I think it's because it's like what they say, like they're friggin' Pokemon or Kikwi or whatever. Sure, that sounded lovely over the mic. Yeah, so in Wind Waker, like you're going off in the unknown, like this kid's like having to sail across the ocean and stuff like that. That's like that's really cool, right? Like you want to see where this adventure is going to take this kid. But Skyward Sword, like Skyloft, it's like established from the beginning that like, oh, everyone has a bird and they just fly around and stuff like that. So So everything is just your backyard. Anytime you're in the sky, it's just your backyard. Like, that's all it is. You know, it's just kind of the woods in your backyard. That's how it felt, just playing it. It's just like, okay, like, I go to, like, this island and, like, some weird dude's there. It's, like, cool, you know? It wasn't like, oh, man, like, I'm, like, kind of in uncharted territory kind of thing, you know? Like, what mysteries am I gonna find and whatnot? It's like, no, these are your neighbors. And they're all weird. And they want stuff from you, you know? I don't know. I didn't find the flying especially engaging for that reason. So, yeah, unfortunately, I remember I wasn't super hyped for Skyward Sword, but, like, I was excited to see another Zelda because, like, Twilight Princess I got super into, right, when I was younger, right? That was the game, like, I was into that game for years of my life. Yeah, I know, right? Like, but that's how it feels. It's just your backyard. But, so, like, I was like, oh, man, you know, another Zelda, you know, I want to have that experience again, right? I want to, like, just, like, get lost in a Zelda game again, right? Kind of classic. But two things. One was the game was what it was, which in my book was pretty mediocre. But two was I had grown up and our games were kind of easy. Fetch quests, yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh, all the collecting. That's right, dude. You had to, like, collect bugs and crap like that to upgrade your armor, and it's just like, I don't want to do that, you know? I forgot about that. Oh gosh. Like, Breath of the Wild also had that, but it was more integrated better, I would say, because, like, you would just kind of collect things as you would go. You didn't have to really go out of your way for the most part. Sometimes you did, like, for really specialty items and whatnot. But that was kind of cool, like, hunting down the dragons in order to collect, like, the claws and stuff like that. It was annoying that you could only get, like, one thing from them at a time, so you'd have to sit there and wait. But there was, like, it was kind of a neat idea, right? Like, anyway, but yeah, so you know, so games are now kind of easy, right? And I remember as I was playing Skyward Sword, I beat the second dungeon, and I was like, wait a minute. I've already beat... Oh, Gratitude Crystal, that's right. I thought that... Man, that was another part of the game where I was really disappointed, because it was just like some weird demon-looking dude. I was like, oh, cool, like, are there, like, demons in the town? That's kind of neat. And then he's just like, no, he's just a dude. Again, he's just your weird neighbor. It's like, oh... Okay, cool. He wants me to collect a bunch of crap for him. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I got through the second dungeon, and I was like, wait a minute. I've already beaten the second dungeon. Do you have any idea how long it took me to beat the second dungeon in Twilight Princess? Because, like, you're a dumb kid, right? It takes you, like, weeks or even months to make any progress. But that was kind of cool because, like, it really made you feel like you were having to, like, figure this stuff out, you know? It's, like, this really, like, imposing thing, right? And now it's, like... And, like, it's not, like... You can't blame anyone for it, right? They're not gonna make the puzzles, like, impossible. And probably I don't have time for that crap anymore anyway. But... You know, that was what really made gaming at that age really special, was like I remember Ocarina of Time. Okay, I was kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie, because it took me like weeks at best to get out of the Kokiri Forest, like to start the first dungeon, because I couldn't find the sword. All I saw was a hole on a wall, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do there. And so I would just leave it, wouldn't read any of the signs or anything like that. So I'd just screw around, right? So you're in Kokiri Forest for like weeks as a kid. And then you finally actually grow a couple brain cells and you actually read like, oh, hey, it says enter if you walk up to it, if you hit this button. Hey, that's cool. And suddenly like the whole world opens up, right? But what's really cool about that is, hey, that kind of reflects the experience of being in Kokiri Forest, right? You can't leave, right? This is just where Link lives with all his like little like friends and stuff like that, right? And then finally, like after like all this time, you get to leave and like see the world expand before your eyes, right? And so stuff like that, like I don't even know how you would do that in a interesting way. I like the only thing I can think is that you make a really long, interesting introduction for your game. I don't know. Also, it says that I'm not connected, so hopefully I don't miss any messages. But yeah, I legit would want to have that experience again. Like have like some kind of game where it's like it's a setting where you are in like some kind of environment that's like closed off for like the longest time, right? And I mean like closed off. Like it feels small. It feels like and like but like the character, that's how the character lives, right? Feel like just going through the motions. It definitely like, yeah, like it definitely is one of those things where once you figure it out, like that's like more than half the gameplay experience is gone, right? I would say like so long as those motions are fun, you have something. And I would say like Zelda does a pretty good job of like making it fun. I don't know. There's something kind of charming, even if you know the puzzle, about like going through. It's kind of like hearing a joke that you've already heard before, right? You know what it is, right? But it still makes you laugh, right? Honestly, it's been a good number of years since I played Twilight Princess. I might have to play it again. I played Wind Waker on stream years back. I played about halfway through it, and then I was like, you know, I'm just gonna stream the rest of this game. And I did it, and it was fun. I don't know, maybe I should play through one of the Zelda games on stream. It'd be kind of fun. I have it set up so that I can stream from my TV now, so that'd be kind of fun. So I wouldn't even need to like do any emulator stuff or anything like that. At least for the games I have. Puzzles weren't really a thing until Link's Awakening. Yeah, yeah, because Link's Awakening came out before A Link to the Past. So yeah. It's crazy to think. That is crazy. No, Link's Awakening was a really like... That's probably one of the most like foundational games in the series, and you don't even really think about it, right? Because it, you know, it was on the Game Boy, and then recently, you know, got the re-release and everything like that. But it is like so foundationally Zelda, right? Link to the Past kind of just built on that, and everything else just built on that. Kind of crazy. But yeah, the most that you had in terms of puzzles in the first Zelda was just like push a block, you know, to unlock a secret passage, or burn a bush. Link's to the Past was first. Hold on, really? Hold on. Not sure. Zelda 2. Oh, you're right. Okay, it was a year later though. Well, A Link to the Past had some puzzles, kinda. They weren't very complex, but they were puzzles, right? You had to have like certain switches down to make your way through certain things, or whatnot. That's funny. I thought that Link's Awakening came out first. Oh. Yeah, I really do need to sit down and play Link's Awakening. I've been wanting to. Honestly, I wanted to pick it up for the original game, the Link's Awakening DX, but that's probably... Let's go check how much video games are, because freaking no longer is a poor man's hobby, that's for sure. DX. The original Link's Awakening, yeah. Loose, it's $42. Good grief. That sucks. Because the regular Link's Awakening is... Oh, it's up to $29. It used to be like $15. Probably should pick it up. Also get rickrolled. Apparently. I still would like to have that one. Maybe I'll play through that one on RetroArch or something like that, get the achievements and whatnot. It'd be fun. Put it on my iPad. I could even take it a legal... I could actually take a legal ROM. Just saying. I'm glad to hear it's not $400. No, that would be Earthbound, which is another game I would love to have, but boy howdy hey, everyone decided that game needed to be out of reach for everyone. Or something, I don't know. Pokemon Emerald. Yeah, how much does Emerald go for? Okay, hold on. I'm getting so distracted. I'm almost done, but I'm curious. Yeah, Emerald is like crazy, isn't it? Pokemon in general. Oh my gosh. Loose, that sucker's $200? Why? What the heck? What is Pokemon Yellow going for these days? I actually have that one. I have 2 Pokemon games. Loose, $52. Okay, not bad. What about Pokemon Silver? That's the other one I have. Okay, no. Oh, come on. Where is it? It's not Soul Silver. Holy freaking crap! Why is Soul Silver on the DS $137 loose? It's $182 in the box. Why? Okay, where that... What? Okay, they were coming... It was coming up. Where is it? It's just showing... Okay, I gotta get rid of the cards. Games. Pokemon Silver for the Game Boy, $57 loose. Okay. I need to, like, get a box for some of my Game Boy games. They just kind of are hanging out because people are insane. People are insane with Pokemon. I will say that. Like, there are certain games. Like, it's not like these are games that have, like, a shortage, right? They sold, like, millions of copies of these games. But everyone decides. It's just like, oh, yeah, I'll pay $150 for freaking Pokemon Emerald. Why not? You know, or $200. Oh, my gosh. It's crazy. Let's see, what else? What's Twilight Princess on the GameCube up to? 119 loose. Oh yeah, that's great. Doggone it. I could have picked that game up for like $20 back in the day. I picked up Wind Waker. I'm glad I picked up Wind Waker. Because Wind Waker is... Yeah, 56 loose, 70 complete in box. I'm glad I have it complete in box, but doggone, I wish I'd picked it up. I mean, I have it up for the Wii, right? So I have it. But, you know, it's my favorite Zelda game, so I'd like to have, like, the other version of it as well. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be nice. Brother, the limited edition for PAL is cheaper. The heck? Yeah, but the Kmart edition of Wind Waker is $93. Don't you know? All right, well, I'm going to leave that up just in case we think of other games to look up the price. Actually, the way I kind of check the market is what price is Earthbound at? $366. So it's technically doing better than it was. Which, yeah, TP on GameCube, yeah. I'm going to be honest, like, a lot of people, like, bash the Wii version, but, like, nah, is my boy. I need to... think about this hand. I think I do prefer the Wii version because like the Wii version had some really cool features to it, like the hot swap item system where every item you would use on the B button, but then you would have 3 other items that you could like store, right? And you would trade them out. That was so nice because then you could have up to 4 items out at once. It was awesome. And the motion controls actually were not that bad. They weren't like Skyward Sword where they were like relying on the motion controls. The motion controls were just kind of like there. But it actually worked out because like the item selection system was really good with it. The aiming was actually a lot of fun. But buying batteries for remotes that died forever ago. Yeah, that was an annoying thing. Rechargeable batteries and all that. Honestly, I wonder if I could... I wonder how hard it would be to lithium. Change them over to lithium. Probably more work than it would be worth. Do it, but honestly, I got into the habit of like lithium swapping stuff. So like my Game Boy, my old school DMG1, has a like cell phone battery, a lithium cell phone battery that it uses, and I'm able to just like charge it off of the internal hardware, so I can plug it into the power jack and it will actually charge. It's super nice. There's also like actual like USB-C charging systems and whatnot. But like, where's the fun in that, you know? Is this Electric Children? Oh yeah, Pills and Needles VIP. Heck yeah. But that is definitely something I do not miss about early wireless controllers, is having to trade out the batteries. You know, it's funny because that's another like another game franchise, I guess, that like kind of came and went in my life. Not totally, but like in a lot of ways. Super Smash Brothers, because like Brawl. Oh my gosh, I bought a Wii pretty much exclusively to play Brawl. Like, I only had like 3 games on the Wii. In the entire time that I had that console, I only had like 3 games for it. One, of course, was Twilight Princess. The other one was Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And then the third game was friggin' A Boy and His Blob, which I never did beat. It'd be fun to go back and try to beat that game, actually. I don't know, I might do that on stream. That'd actually be kind of funny. Like, I played the ever-living crap out of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That's why I don't care if anyone says, like, oh, that's the worst one in the franchise. But it's like, yeah. Like, you really gonna seriously try to convince me of that? Like, I don't give a crap about competition. A Boy in His Blob. Yeah, there was a release of A Boy, like there was a remake, I guess, of A Boy and His Blob for the Wii, and I got it. I got that bad boy. It was a fun game. It was, I don't know, it was charming and fun. But it's funny because like the whole reason I wanted it, I got it for like Christmas or my birthday or something like that one year. But the whole reason I wanted it is because I was like, oh, I know what that is. That's an old NES game. I'm actually going to increase the size of this hand. We're actually gonna erase the van. All right, just one more hand. But yeah, no, I only had like 3 games with Wii the whole time. I want to say. I mean, I had like Wii Sports, but like, I don't count that. But I never did get like Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy, or Galaxy 2. I never got those. I never like. I played a lot of like Mario 64 when I was younger. But otherwise, you know, it's funny to think how little Mario I've actually played. I mean, I played the crap out of Mario 2 when I was younger as well. Never really played Mario 3. I have it. I own it. I probably should play that one more because it is a really fun game. I have Super Mario World as well. I've played a bit of Super Mario World, but I always like every single time I load it up, I get to the first ghost house, and then I kind of just like set it aside. I just like, oh, I'll get back to that one of these days, you know? And I never do. Probably should. It'd be fun. And this one is, again, a fish. But honestly, I've just been getting into the PS2 lately. I already beat Zone of the Enders, like I mentioned, and the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex game that's on there, which is actually a pretty fun game. That was actually it was a little bit like jank or whatever, like in terms of controls and whatnot, but like it was fun. It was playable and it was fun. I want more like Ghost in the Shell games, like cool, like action, like kind of special ops kind of gameplay type stuff, you know? It's kind of surprising there aren't that many Ghost in the Shell games. There's a standalone complex. There is, yeah. It's, like I said, it's actually pretty good. I actually recommend it. Like I said, it takes a little bit of getting used to as far as the controls go and whatnot. And it's always a little bit jank, but like, it's pretty fun. Feel that it hardly got touched. I mean, if you still have it, I highly recommend like look into homebrewing it. Because like if you want a machine that can handle everything, basically from the Wii back, homebrewed Wiis are awesome. Because you can emulate everything, right? You can emulate. I mean, the only thing would maybe be like the DS, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it past someone to have like attempted it. But like Game Boy games, NES games, Game Boy Advance, friggin' Super Nintendo has emulators, N64 has the Virtual Console, and that's the thing, right? It has the Virtual Console, right? Which is actually a really solid emulation platform. And then, of course, backwards compatibility with GameCube games and then Wii games. Yeah, no, homebrewed Wiis are awesome. And then on top of that, you can play hacks on a console with them. So, like, you know, if you're into randomizers or, you know, any of the numerous Mario 64 ROM hacks that have come out, or there have been a lot of really cool Ocarina of Time ROM hacks that have been coming out. All right, that's that done. Jeez, it's almost 10. Yeah, and it's not a terribly difficult process, especially if you have Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but there's other workarounds as well. The hardest part is actually getting like compatible SD cards and USB sticks. That's like the hardest part, honestly. Otherwise, everything is just like follow the guide. Okay, let's go and see what we got going here. Back here. It's gonna look, you know, incomplete because it is incomplete, but I like that. I like it. Yeah, no, those are looking like good keys. So I'll finish keying it probably on, if not tomorrow. I probably will work on other things tomorrow because this ended up taking all of my time. But we did get a nearly 3-hour stream in, which was cool. That being said, I do have work a little bit early. Where is Long Guts? Where is he? You okay? You right there. looking mildly pleased. I do love Long Guts. He is friend. Do I have these on their own layers, right? I'm gonna have to put them on their own layer if they're not. Long Guts. All right. Okay. So, yeah, no, I'm liking how this is coming along. We still have all of these frames to key out, but actually we just have like a few more. Let me, for the fun of it, let's just check and see what else is going to be a key. Hold on. That's a breakdown right there. Probably that frame, I would guess. Or actually, it would be the last settle frame. No, it would be the first. Hold on. Probably be that frame. Wait, hold on. Probably be that frame. I'm actually gonna mark that because I'm just gonna copy and paste the body. So what I'm gonna have to do, oh boy, I might actually animate the arms on their own layer when I get to that part. I might do that because otherwise I would have to like erase the arms every time. Or I'm gonna be animating it straight ahead. I probably won't bother with that. I'll probably just draw the arms over as they settle. Yeah. So I'll draw the body first, ignore the arms, and then repeat it across the different frames. But that's a little bit of a ways away because we're gonna have to in between here to here, which is, how many frames is that? It's like 3 frames, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 3 frames there. 1, 2 frames here to get to here. And then I think 6 frames in between here and here. 6 or 8 frames. I'm hoping that it's 6. Or am I hoping it's 6? Because if it's 6 frames, then... No, I'm actually hoping that it is 8, because then it's even. It's halves instead of thirds, but whatever. It doesn't really matter all that much. Anyway, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat some ramen. Got homemade ramen on the docket tonight. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for the subscriptions as well. If you want to see more streams, things like that, be sure to subscribe. We hit over 200, which is really cool. I'm really happy about that. So we'll see how far we can keep that going. I need to make a new video. I've been sitting on a video idea for ages. I have the audio recorded for it, although I might re-record some of it. Yeah, I need to put up more stuff. I want to do more stuff with the YouTube channel and whatnot, but only so many hours in the day and all that. But yeah, I'll be back on Tuesday. I would usually say Monday, but a little bit of an odd week. So Tuesday, hopefully going to be doing a long stream that day. And I think I'm going to like really try to get some work done on the comic on Tuesday. Like half a page if I can. So yeah, that's what we got going. So hopefully I'll see you then. Otherwise, have a good night. I will catch you all later. Goodbye.